Venom, Let There Be Carnage is finally out. And in the, this film, oh my god, it was supposed to come out I believe it was supposed to come out like late September. I believe like September, I want to say September 24, but then it got delayed like 2 or 3 weeks to like October 15th, which by the way is the same day/weekend of the Halloween Kills movie. But then after Sony heard about the success of Shang-Chi, they were like, you know what, maybe we should bump this up to October 1st. So they bumped it back up to October 1st. And now here we go. Here we are. So it is the sequel to the first Venom movie that came out all the way back in 2018. And the first Venom movie, I really enjoyed it. Well, by that I mean like I enjoyed, I love Tom Hardy's performance as Venom, as Eddie Brock, as the voice of Venom and as Eddie Brock. I love their relationship with each other. And the whole back and forth banter, and like arguments. So I really enjoy that, and in this film is definitely that, but like more. Like, I don't know if I would say on steroids, but I think I would call it. Actually, yeah, I would call it on steroids. So so what you saw so what you love about the first Venom movie is in here in the second one, but it's like times 10. but it's times 10. It's on steroids. And that's one of the issues I have with the film. Like, a majority of this film is very boring. I would say it's very boring. Like, I'm thinking to myself, I at a point I thought to myself while I was watching the film, are we gonna get somewhere? Like, so, because like a part of the movie is like spent on like this like Eddie Brock and Venom arguing with each other. It's like a husband. It's like, they actually made a comment slash joke about the whole couple counseling, and they really are. Eddie Brock and Venom are a couple. They really are. It's like husband and wife. They're like arguing with each other about like possessing the bodies and symbiotes, and like trying to find something to eat. I'm trying to find something to eat. Venom's hungry, and he needs he needs food, and by food he means like brains, and human brains and not chicken brains. But yeah, and so part of the movie is spent on that, and then like the second part is like the other part is spent on Eddie Brock coming back over and over again to Cletus Kasady, and interviewing him and finding more about his childhood and more about him, and then finally he breaks out, of his prison, and he's on the loose as Carnage. He's like he's destroying things, he's killing people. So, Carnage. And then we have like this, and then also Venom. And then also Carnage has this wife, quote unquote. Has this wife, quote unquote, Shriek. And the two of them are causing, well, carnage and destruction across the city, and yeah. So that's like and then like there's also a detective, like a cop. Like Eddie Brock is going back and forth between Cletus Kasady, and then also getting support from Dan and his ex-fiance Anne, and then also he's trying, and then also he's talking to, this police officer, this cop, who I know is, Patrick Mulligan. I saw his name tag, P Mulligan. I'm like, oh my god, that's Toxin. And it feels so good to be a fan, because as a fan you get to know a lot of you get so much knowledge, and a lot of shit. So I'm like, Toxin is in here, so Toxin's definitely going to be in the third film, or maybe somewhere down the line, so we'll see more of him. But yeah, it was so great seeing Toxin. Maybe we'll get more of his origin, Mr. Mulligan's origin, in like the future, in a future sequel down the line. But yeah, so that's pretty much the movie. So that's pretty much the movie. I just summed it up. So to sum it all up, the entire movie is just Eddie Brock and Venom arguing with each other like a couple, like a husband and wife. They need, and I believe Dan said something about couple counseling, made a like a comment or joke about couple counseling, and they really should get couple counseling. But yeah, it's just the two of them like arguing with each other, and then like Eddie Brock going back and then back and forth between, Cletus Kasady, and his ex fiance Anne, and then also this Patrick, this Mulligan police detective cop. So yeah, and then finally, all hell breaks loose when Cletus breaks out of prison, and then the institute, and the Ravencroft Institute, and then he starts becoming Carnage, and then the two of them fight each other at the cathedral, at the church, and then that's pretty much the movie. That's it. That's the movie right there. So yeah, I mean, I wish, and also the movie is very short, like an hour and 30 minutes. I would prefer like 2 hours. 2 hours would be okay by me. Anything more than that, I would feel like it's gonna be too much. But 2 hour movie, you know, I would be definitely okay with it. I feel like there's so much. I feel like there was 30 minutes of footage of that could have been spent on something, epic or awesome, maybe some character development. And that's something. And speaking of character development, we don't get much of character development with Carnage, Cletus Kasady, and especially Shriek. You know, I just he talks about in the film, he talks to Eddie that when he was a kid, he pushed his grandmother. It's just definitely in the comics, just like in the comics, he pushed his grandmother, who was in a wheelchair, down the stairs. He threw a hair dryer in his mom's bathtub, and then he got beaten, and then his dad beat the shit out of him. And then he was sent into like the rehabilitation, like the reform school for kids, for like lunatics. So we get to know a little bit about him. We get to know a little bit about Cletus Kasady, but we get to know nothing about Shriek. Except that she's in love with Carnage, with Cletus. Well, not Carnage, but Cletus Kasady. She's in love with Cletus. That's it. That's her character right there. That's her character. The character of Shriek is just, she's in love with Cletus and she wants to get reunited with him. That's it. That's her character right there. We don't get an origin story. We don't get anything. We don't get an origin story. We don't get to see her parents or family members. Nothing. She's just in love with Cletus, and then that's it. So yeah, I mean, 30 minutes of that footage could have been spent on character development and maybe some awesome, more action scenes, something awesome or epic, but, what we got is what we got. It's definitely an improvement. I will say this, Venom, Let There Be Carnage is definitely an improvement over Venom. I feel like Cletus Kasady is a way better villain than fucking Carlton Drake, Riot. But yeah. And I know this is all symbiotes and everything, but I would definitely like to see, like, in the, like, down the line, maybe the origins of the symbiotes, all that. So yeah, and also, so yeah, that's basically Venom: Let There Be Carnage. Now, there is a post-credit scene, and let's talk about it. Like, because everyone's talking, it's funny because everyone's talking more about the post-credit scene of Venom: Let There Be Carnage than the actual movie Venom: Let There Be Carnage. So yeah, let's talk about the movie. Let's talk about those post-credit scenes. So the post-credit scene. Okay. So so in the post-credit scene, Venom tells, Eddie Brock and Venom, they're at a hotel. They're at a crappy hotel room. And then Venom tells Brock about the symbiote's knowledge of other universes. And then all of a sudden, there's a blinding light, and it sounded like an earthquake. I thought it was like an earthquake or something. And then everything around it, like, and then the hotel room, the entire hotel room, like changes. As they got teleported, as they got transported to to another room, and then on the TV, J. Jonah Jameson. Holy shit. J. Jonah Jameson reveals Spider-Man's identity as Peter Parker on television. Venom said, it wasn't me. And then he looks at the picture. And then Venom, looks at the picture of Peter Parker, Spider-Man. And then he starts licking Tom Holland's, Tom Holland's face on television. So yeah. Oh my god, it's happening. Before this movie came out, a couple weeks before, like a few weeks before the movie came out, Andy Serkis, who directed this film, by the way, I just love that. I just love that right there. Andy Serkis, I love it. I love Andy Serkis. But he said that, yes, a Venom and Spider-Man crossover will happen down the line. And I'm thinking to myself, when? It's going to be so far in the future. No, it's happening right now. It's happening right now. Oh my god. So the question is, will Venom be in Spider-Man No Way Home? Or will he be in the post-credit scene for Spider-Man No Way Home? Maybe Spider-Man and Venom might cross over with each other in a future film. Maybe a future Spider-Man film or a future Venom film or whatever. Maybe they're really building up the Sinister Six. The Sinister Six is definitely going to be Sony's Endgame, Avengers Endgame. So yeah, so they're really building it all up. So this is insane. That was insane. Like, after I walked out of the theater, I couldn't stop thinking about that post-credit scene. It's happening, ladies and gentlemen. Spider-Man and Venom will be crossing over. Oh my god. It's happening. It is happening. So anyway, I'm just thinking about the post-credit scene right now. So anyway, if you've seen Venom: Let There Be Carnage, let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. Thank you so much for taking your time to listen to my review. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video, and I will see all of you lovely people very soon.